Hey guys, welcome to this week's review of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Reunion Part 4. Finally, it's over! Yay! Okay, let's get into the review. You know, I said before, I've been going back and forth with Erica Jane, and I feel like I've come to a conclusion with Erica Jane. It may be unpopular, but at the end of the day, I just gotta trust my gut feeling. You know what I mean? With Erica, I don't know. It's not a black and white issue. It's not a she's innocent or she's guilty. I think that she has definitely been able to live this lavish lifestyle based on the criminal acts that Tom has committed, right? But I don't think she was an accomplice. I don't think she really knew what was going on. However, do I think that, she had moments of pause? She had moments where she was like, this is a lot of money. But, she didn't question it. She just took it. She spent it. She did what she did. She didn't really look into it. But I definitely do have a feeling that she knew something was potentially going on, right? And she knew that things were going down or things were going wrong because during this reunion, she said, well, we all know that Bethany Frankel, she was like, everybody knew that Tom had issues or Tom was having financial problems, right? Kyle knew, and even Andy knew. And Erica admitted that, in 2020, when she was doing Broadway and, she was, I guess, shopping, her credit card declined, right? So she knew, I think before then, she knew something was going down, right? Now, I can't say whether or not she loves her husband or she was just using him for the money. I think it's a little bit of both, right? Like, I understand that, okay, maybe Erica Jane didn't enter into the relationship just for love, right? I'm pretty sure money was a main attractor. But, I mean, can you blame her? But at the time, he was like, wasn't he like in his 70s or... So money was definitely really attractive, right? The prestige and the status that Tom had was really attractive to her, right? It's complicated. It's layered. So I don't think it's like... And I think that's why I flip and I flop with how I feel about her. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like she is an accomplice. I just think she benefited from it, right? She benefited from his criminal behavior. She did. Now, that's on you guys if you think that morally she's responsible for that. Like if someone goes and robs the bank, right, and use that money to buy you a house, are you culpable? Is it your fault? Are you criminally responsible? Are you morally responsible? Or would you be like, well, I didn't know that person robbed the bank. They just bought me this house. Like, what do you want me to do? Give up my house? That's not my fault. I didn't do anything, right? So, I don't know with her. I really don't. But like I said, I don't think she helped him with it. And does he have dementia? Now, some people say he's this criminal mastermind, which he is, right? But it goes beyond that. Some people believe that he's faking dementia to get out of it, right? And I guess, that would make a great Hollywood story of someone faking dementia, right, to get out of trouble. But, he's approaching his 90s, right? He's an old man, so it's also not far-fetched to believe that he is, slowly losing his mind, right? But that's irrelevant to the conversation anyways, because he's been doing this dirt for a long but time, right? a long butt time. So it doesn't matter if he has dementia or he doesn't or whatever. That's irrelevant at this point, But like I said, it wouldn't be far-fetched if he did have it, right? So moving on. Erica can be very aggressive, right? She can be. But the problem with the other ladies is that they're too passive aggressive. So on one side, you have these people that are super passive, and then you have someone that's like, rawr. It's very easy for Erica to be the bully and Erica to dominate and Erica to scare everybody off. There's not that balance, right? Like, imagine Erica talking to the ladies of New York, Real Housewives of New York, or talking to the ladies of Real Housewives of New Jersey, or talking to the ladies of Real Housewives of Atlanta, or talking to the ladies of Real Housewives of Potomac. Any of the other housewives, let's just be real, right? They wouldn't let Erica talk to them that way, right? They would snap back like, excuse me, who do you think you're talking to? And right? So Erica snaps at Crystal, right? And Crystal was asking a fair question. A lot of people have been wondering, like, you don't seem as angry with Tom, right? And I agree with that. She doesn't seem angry. She seems more hurt. She seems more sad. Like, when she talks about him and the situation, she tears up, right? Like, she's about to break down and cry. And unless Erica is that good of an actress, right, where she can just produce all this emotion and tears and everything, I don't know. I do feel like it is genuine, right? And some people, when they see tears, they may associate that with she loves him and she wants to protect him and But for some people, when they start crying and welling up, that can come from the emotion of anger and disappointment. And it's like, how could you put me in this situation? You effed up my whole entire life, kind of energy. So it's really hard to say where that emotion is coming from or what that emotion is, right? Because when it comes to the other ladies, she has no problem showing kind of like what we would consider traditional forms of anger, which is yelling at them and screaming and cussing, right? But when it comes to Tom, it's tears. So I don't know. But Sutton asked a valid question, right? And instead of maybe explaining it, Erica snaps at her, right? But the thing, and Erica was wrong for that, right? But the thing is that Crystal, she then completely shuts down, right? Like, you could see it on her face. Like, she doesn't say anything more, right? When Erica is explaining her story and crying, Sutton is just deadpan. And it's like, it's hard to explain, and I know I am rambling. Okay, so let me just try to make this short here. Okay, Erica is wrong, right? But we also need some pushback from the other ladies. I mean, it's plain and simple, right? You can't have Erica yell at you and then you just shut down and then you don't want to engage, right? And then, Andy's trying to explain to Erica where it's like, well, Erica kept saying, well, they could have asked me questions, but instead they talked behind my back and And Erica was like, Andy was like, well, you're not very approachable. I mean, you just bit Crystal's head off. So you can understand why the ladies don't want to ask you questions. Same with Garcelle, right? Where she's like, well, you snapped at me because I asked you a question. So we didn't want to and And I get that. But you guys got to have a little bit of a backbone. I am sorry. I know it sounds terrible. But for me as an audience member, it can be kind of frustrating if someone can just so easily shut you down. Right? Like, imagine Erica talking to Teresa Giudice like that, right? Do you think Teresa is just gonna shut down and be like, okay? Or even Jennifer. Jennifer has a mouth on her. Do you think Jennifer will just be like, okay, Erica, okay? No, Erica would have a comeback. Like, excuse me, don't talk to me like that. I was just asking you a question. What's wrong with you? Like, uh. And it's like, I want to like Crystal. I know she's new, so she may be a little bit intimidated by the ladies, so I'm going to give her a bit of grace. But this is why I'm hesitant with her coming back, because I'm going to need these ladies to step it up. If you're going to do the same damn thing like everybody else and just back down all the time, it's annoying. It's annoying, and it can't just be, well, Erica's mean. She is mean. So what? What are you going to do about it? Like, I'm sorry, when Erica said, it's only in Beverly Hills where everybody's so precious. I'm sorry, I agree with her. I'm sorry. Now, when Erica was like, in Real Housewives of Atlanta, they wouldn't be like this. In Potomac, they wouldn't be like this. And Garcelle was like, what? What is that supposed to mean? And we know, right? Because it's like, oh, you're naming the Black Housewives. And we know the stereotype that Black women are seen as more aggressive, right? And I get that, but it's not just the Black Housewives. I listed New York, New Jersey. Am I missing anybody? Even Dallas. Like, remember, is it Dallas? Was it Dallas? I mean, that show has been canceled not that long ago, and I already forgot. I think it was Dallas. It was, remember Leanne? Like, Leanne was scary. And I think New York is definitely the most aggressive. Or is it New Jersey? I think it's New York. They're more aggressive. Like, they will scream and shout and like make a scene. So it's not just the Black Housewives. It's all the other housewives. It's just Beverly Hills where they're so passive aggressive, right? And Erica is the only one that kind of will speak up, right? And I'm not saying that's okay or she's not in the wrong, but come on, like, you guys need to step it up. Right? Because even Garcelle was like, you know what? At the dinner at Kathy Hilton's house, I should have stepped up and said that was wrong. That wasn't okay for you to do that, Erica. But I didn't, and that's what I should have done. And I totally agree. Because in that scene, Garcelle was kissing Erica's ass. I'm sorry, but she was. She was. And standing up for yourself and holding other people accountable does not mean yelling and screaming. I don't want them to yell at each other or scream or cuss each other out or fight. That's not what I'm asking. I'm just asking for them to speak their truth and to speak it with a little bit of confidence. There's no reason why Garcelle shouldn't have been able to speak up for herself in that moment, right? Could have said, hey, Erica, that's wrong, right? If Sutton is your friend, why didn't you say anything? Like, always in your confessionals being like, oh, that was wrong, that was messed up. Like, even with that dinner, I can't remember, I think Crystal was there and Kyle and whatever, and they were talking about Sutton, and then Garcelle was like, well, they know I'm Team Sutton. Why would they say that in front of May? And it's like, say that to their face. Say that to their face. Like, come on. So, I mean, nothing really much happened. It's like the same back and forth. And, you know, Erica's telling her story and Sutton's like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I feel like I've said the same thing 1,001 times throughout this entire season. So there's no point saying it again. I will say that with Erica's story about Tom and his accident, at the end of the day, we will never really know what happens. But now that she told the entire story, it's not impossible. Now, the only thing that I kind of want to be cleared up is the snow and the snow thing. And she was like, oh, well, let's not talk about that, okay? Let's talk about that. How's the snow in California? Or was he somewhere else? Was he not in California? Like, we need to clear that up. Okay? I want to know. Andy? Like, come on. You know, I want to know. Sorry, how's it snowing in California? Please, let me know. Okay, what else happened? Lisa, oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you, Shady Bravo producers, with that little flashback of all the times that Lisa has been a messy you know what. Like, thank you. Thank you. She's so fake. I can't stand her. And even at the end when she was like, I think I'm a really good friend. No, you're not really that great of a friend. I'm sorry. I mean, did you watch? Well, she didn't watch the flashback, but we're watching the flashbacks, okay? And you don't seem like a very good friend. You seem actually like a terrible friend, okay? Why didn't she come for Erica? One, I do think that her and Erica do have a genuine friendship, right? Like, I don't think Lisa Rinna was friends with Yolanda or with Denise Richards like that. You know, even though they're like, oh, we've known each other for 20 years. I feel like that's more Hollywood friends, right? Like you run in the same circle and so you're always running into each other and you say hi and bye and you may have a couple of cocktails, but that's it. You're not truly friends like that. So it doesn't really take much for you to throw them under the bus for a paycheck, right? Because you know, okay, I need to stir up the drama, I need to create a moment. So hey, if it's going to be you with the storyline, well, then it's going to be you. You know, like I feel like that's how Lisa Rinna approaches things. But I do think with Erica, the friendship is a bit more genuine, right? And then didn't you guys hear that Erica gave her like $10 million to start her makeup line? So that could be another influence, right? But you never know what's true or what's not true with these blogs. So, you know, I say that tentatively, right? And also, we know Erica, if she's going to come for Erica, you know, she's not going to be like Yolanda. She's not going to be like Denise Richards, right? That's going to want to run away. She's not going to be like Lisa Vanderpump, right? Who's also going to run away. Like, Erica will come for you. Right? So she knows that. So I think people know who to come for. But then with Kim Richards would also come for you, right? But still, I guess because of her addiction, she was seen as an easy target. So I think Lisa Rinna knows who's kind of easy to pick off. And she didn't want it with Erica Jane, to be honest with you. She didn't. So like I said, I just started watching Beverly Hills, right? Maybe like 2 seasons ago. And I never really understood why people really didn't like Lisa Rinna. And now I can say I understand. I totally understand now. So overall, I mean, this reunion could have been 3 parts, like I've said 1,001 times. It didn't need to be 4 parts. And to be honest, this reunion has been the Erica Jane show. Really and truly. Like, if it weren't for her, I mean, what would we be talking about this season? Like, let's be real. What would we be talking about? Crystal and Sutton? I mean, that's not even a whole part, right? Like, I know people don't like Erica Jane right now, understandably, but she brought it. I'm sorry, she did. She made the reunion. And it's not just with the drama she had going on, but with her energy, with her feistiness, right? And I guess because the other ladies are so passive-aggressive, it makes me appreciate Erica's aggressiveness. Like, that's terrible. They have me rooting for Erica Jane. What's going on, guys? Oh my gosh. For next season, I don't. Well, have you guys heard that Dorit has, unfortunately, she was robbed, you know, at gunpoint. So, oh my gosh. But they were like filming the next day. So, you know, that's gonna be a major part of their storyline. And it's like, oh my gosh. I just hope the producers sit down with all of them and say, guys, we are going to need you to be a little bit more assertive, right? Enough of this passive-aggressive shit, right? Enough of saving it for the confessionals. If you have an issue with somebody, you're going to need to say it to their face, This is what we're going to do from now on. Because out of all the ladies, there's no one I really would say needs to get fired. If I'm being completely honest, like Erica Jane, I know she's not popular right now, but she definitely does not need to get fired, right? Lisa Rinna, I mean, if she could stay or go for me, right? Like, I don't mind if she's there, but if she were to leave, I wouldn't care. Dorit, I mean, I like Dorit, so she could stay, but she needs to step it up. I'm sorry. Crystal, same with Crystal. I give her grace because this is her first season and we know how it is. And I do like her, but she needs to step it up a little bit more, right? Because even when Erica was apologizing to her, like, well, sorry I snapped at you. Sorry I bit your head off. Oh, sorry I stabbed you. Oops. And she's like, oh, no, it's okay. I totally understand. No, I'm not saying you need to hold grudges, but can you say, I get where you're at right now. I get you're upset, but that's totally unacceptable. And don't talk to me like that. Like, give us some fire. Like, you could tell she was really nervous and scared, right? Which is okay because it's her first season, like I said, but I'm going to need her to strengthen that backbone. Garcelle, same message. Strengthen that backbone. Not that black bone, but that backbone. Strengthen that, right? And I'm glad that she did recognize, like, oh, maybe I should have spoke up, right? And I think the audience, people like Garcelle. I like Garcelle. People are rooting for her, right? So hopefully she develops a little bit more confidence and not be so concerned about fitting in with the other ladies. Like, Garcelle, you are that girl. You don't need them. Trust me, you don't, right? So be a little bit more assertive, you know? Sutton, you know, Sutton, I like Sutton. You know, I think she did a good job, right? I think she did a good job. You know, so Sutton can definitely come back. Kyle, people don't like Kyle either, but I do like Kyle. I don't know why, I do. She can come back. So, like, none of the ladies need to go. It's just that they need to bring it a little bit more, or else I don't see this show really working for that much longer. It's like, what are you gonna do? Every season you're gonna have some over-the-top scandal to save you? Okay, if that's what you're gonna want to do, but that sounds terrible to me, at least for them. Anyway, rambling. I'm done. That was the season, guys. It's over. Woot. See ya.